to using bird-carrying lines rather than not using bird-carrying lines and catching and killing birds.
Since the Albatross Task Force was set up in 2004, it's seen a 90% reduction in the number of seabirds killed by southern African fisheries. The hope is to replicate its success in other parts of the world to ensure these majestic birds can keep reproducing for years to come. Maini Jones, BBC News, Cape Town.
People around the world are gearing up for New Year's Eve celebrations, but in some places, the celebrations are already in full swing as partygoers count down the final hours. One of the first places to enter 2026 was New Zealand, and people marked the moment with laser lights and a firework display over Auckland's Sky Tower. You can see the pictures here, and Harbour Bridge, a spectacular fireworks display at midnight there. And these are live pictures we have coming up next. It's Australia. They'll be saying goodbye to 2025 on the east coast of Australia in the next hour, and we'll be bringing you that moment live here on BBC News, so stay with us.
Hello again. It's a cold day ahead today, and it's going to get colder as we go through the next few days, particularly through the weekend. There's snow showers in the forecast as well. Frequent snow showers and icing conditions in northern Scotland. By the end of Friday, we could have 10 to 20 centimetres of snow, maybe a bit more, in northern Scotland on the hills. But we'll see some of that at lower levels. Not so much today. A lot of dry weather, some stubborn fog in the south, which could linger all day. Windy with some frequent showers across the north of Scotland, and temperatures 4 to 8 degrees. Now, if you're going out to celebrate the new year tonight, we've got two bands of showers. First one moving south, the second one following on right behind it. Some of those will be wintry on the hills, and under clear skies in the south once again. It's going to be cold. We'll have some frost in sheltered parts. Temperatures could actually fall away to -4. So a cold start to the day tomorrow. Our first band of showers clears. There'll be some sunshine. Then the second band clears. The showers come down to low levels of wintry showers in Scotland, and with gales in the north and the east, they're likely to be blowing. And we could see a few wintry showers in the hills of Northern Ireland and also northwest Wales. Some sleet potentially at lower levels. As we head on through Friday and into the weekend, it does remain cold. It will also be windy in the north, and some of us will see some snow showers.
I'm in London to explore film tourism, also known as set jetting, the practice of people going to places they've only ever seen in movies. I'm going to sample some film tourism myself and find out what makes this massive global business tick. Join me, Tom Brooke, for Talking Movies on BBC News.
I'm in Malaysian Borneo, my family's homeland, tasting a tropical bounty of indigenous ingredients and learning how tribal traditions and international influences are celebrated in this region's cuisine. Join me, Nick Queck, for Discovering the World's Table on BBC News.
As AI-generated tracks top the charts and streaming platforms are deluged with AI-made music, is the industry being taken over by artificial intelligence? We'll hear from a former major label boss and a leading music streamer on how the industry's fighting back. That's Talking Business this week on BBC News.
My Iranian father learned to speak English by listening to the World Service. My grandparents, when they moved to England, learned the language and culture by watching the news. The BBC was always on in the Mashiri house, and my dream actually was to be a BBC News presenter. I want to be for others what the BBC was for us, a trusted source of stability and hope. For me, trust is about presence, about fostering relationships all around the world over years. So when a story breaks, we're not chasing a lead, we're already there. I'm Marianne Mashiri on The World Today for BBC News. Love saying that.
They use fake names, carry burner phones, and hide in plain sight. Not to escape the law, but to expose those breaking it.
His car is here.
I'm from BBC Africa Eye.
I wanted to have a chat with you.
Hey!
Go, 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 go.
They are BBC World Service reporters. And this is Global Eye. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
This is BBC News, the headlines. The Queen has praised the bravery of BBC racing commentator John Hunt and his family after the murder of his wife and 2 daughters. She told the BBC it prompted her to share the story of how a man assaulted her as a teenager.
I'd just like to say, wherever your family is now, they'd be so proud of you both.
Thank you.
And they must be from above, smiling down on you.
The European Union says a new ban by Israel on 37 aid groups working in Gaza and the occupied West Bank will prevent life-saving assistance from reaching Palestinians. And coming face to face with a great white, we hear from a man who survived a shark bite off the California coast. Hello, I'm Lucy Hockings. Queen Camilla has praised the courage of BBC racing commentator John Hunt and his family after his wife, Carol, and 2 daughters, Louise and Hannah, were killed by Louise's ex-partner. In a conversation with John and his surviving daughter, Amy, the Queen also shared publicly for the first time her experience of being indecently assaulted as a teenager. The Queen was speaking during a discussion on violence against women on BBC Radio 4's Today programme, guest edited by former Prime Minister Baroness Theresa May and moderated by Emma Barnett.
This year, as part of Radio 4's Today programme Guest Editor season, we invited Baroness Theresa May, the former Conservative Prime Minister, to influence our New Year's Eve edition. She wanted to talk about violence against women. Tackling the issue was a central priority for her, first as Home Secretary and then later as Prime Minister. She was joined by John and Amy Hunt, whose family were killed by Kyle Clifford. Her Majesty the Queen wanted to meet with the Hunts and Baroness May to discuss domestic violence, a subject she has felt strongly about for many years. What you're about to see is an extended edit of that discussion. We're here together today to try and raise awareness of domestic violence and violence against women and girls, especially in the run-up to Christmas time and New Year, when we know charities and helplines receive a 15% or so rise in calls on the issue. We've brought you, John and Amy, together with Her Majesty in light of what happened to your family and your desire to help protect more women and change some men's behaviour, and an issue that is very close to our guest editor's heart and working life, Baroness May. I also know that Your Majesty and His Majesty the King wrote to you after what happened after the murders of your wife and 2 daughters and your mum and sisters, Amy. So I just want to say to all of you, thank you so much for being here, and to you, John and Amy, in particular. John and Amy, if I could come to you first, perhaps you, John, and just start by saying it must be something to be here with Her Majesty and to be in this situation overall. Why do you want to talk today?
Amy and I have travelled such a long way since the 9th of July 2024, the day the girls were murdered. And one thing we've realised is that there is a growing capacity to find energy and to find purpose, which on the 10th of July we thought had disappeared forever.
And Amy, you would never have imagined you'd be in this position.
No. And I think that's the thing that has become so obvious to us over the last year and a half, is that domestic violence and domestic abuse stretches across classes, ages, locations. And I think no one anticipates being in this situation. And I think that's the reason why stopping it, doing what we can to stop this horror that is inflicted on so many women and their families is so important, because you just don't know who might face abuse, violence.
Yes. The statistics, when you look through and you see what they are, and I know, Your Majesty, you've been working on this for years now, you care deeply. 1 woman is killed in the UK every 3 days, as is the estimate. And I know that, the Hunts case touched you deeply.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to John and Amy for coming here today in these very difficult circumstances, and how important it is for them to talk about it which I know they do all the time.